Game day morning. I just had a little morning walk, about to get breakfast, and the thoughts and feelings right now are really excited, really happy to have this opportunity to go out and compete with some of the best players in the world and see what happens. Getting to breakfast now, and then we're gonna have a warm-up hit, me and Leo, and grab some lunch and get ready for the match. So, see you guys there. I need to learn how to do this myself as well, so I can put it on somewhat decent.
So it's a bit harder than yesterday, but
After grabbing some breakfast and then having a morning mobility warm-up session, it was now time to head to the courts for a tennis warm-up. This is a very common theme on the professional tennis circuit. Most people look to have at least 30 minutes of hitting before they head on to the match court. And this 30-minute hitting session looks pretty identical for most people, and that is why we were able to just share a court together with two other players preparing for their match. Is there anybody who can recognize who that lefty player next to us is? So for this standard hitting session, you usually begin with about hitting down the line for about 10 minutes, and then you move into some volleys and overheads for about 5 minutes or so. After that, some people want to hit a few balls cross court, others prefer to spend more time on solely serve and returns for the remaining 10-15 minutes or so. But as we were getting ready for doubles, it's usually preferred to strike a few cross courts and then move into some serve and returns. And lastly, depending on time, you sometimes can squeak in a few points, and here with some help from our respective coaches, Christian Briniak and Sebastian Schneider, we played just a few, just fun points to cap it off. After that, we just moved on and made sure to get some good lunch. And then as we finished all our preparations, it's on to probably the most common and toughest part of professional tennis. And that is the waiting game. Since we're the last match on the center court, we're followed by the previous matches, meaning that we go on as soon as they're finished. And as you might know, the length of tennis matches can differentiate a lot. Yeah. So for the match before us, Monteiro versus Galan. After Galan won the first set,
Galan.
We started to prepare and made sure to warm up, as it could be about 30 minutes before we go on court. But then of course the second set gets crazy tight, it's really back and forth, and then of course it moves into a 3-setter, and constantly during that time, you're getting ready to go because it could get on in 5-10 minutes. And yeah, as soon as it moves on to a 3-setter, then all of a sudden you just really have to prepare again, as it could be 32. And then of course, as soon as it moves on to a 3-setter, you have to just kind of make sure to stay warm, as it could be more than 30 to 45 minutes before you get on. And it really is something about this weight that I don't really know how to explain it, but it's just you're just so go ready. You have so much adrenaline when you feel like you're about to go on and then you don't get on, and then you're about to go on and then you don't get on. And it's just something about it that's so exciting, but then at the same time, it is kind of exhausting as well. But either way, Monteiro, of course, as the fighter he is, manages to turn it around and take it home 6-4 in the third set.
Big win for Thiago Monteiro.
And that means that it's go time.
Freund, Leo Borg.
Straight away as the match begins, veterans as they are, they come up firing with a lot of energy, really hitting their spots with a serve and just kind of taking command straight away in the first game. So before we get into the second game, I really must explain something here, how our opponents really kind of outplayed us here to begin the match and kind of just set the tone straight away. So for me and Leo, by far our best game is when Leo is serving and I'm at the net. And probably our worst game is when I'm serving and then Leo is at the net. But then as it's pretty windy conditions, it really is an advantage to serve with the wind, as it would give me the more opportunity to maybe hit like heavy kick serves to kind of move them around and get a lot out of it. So it was very important for us that I would serve with the wind and then Leo would serve against the wind. And then of course, preferably we want Leo to start serving, as that would give him the opportunity to maybe have more service games. The way you do it to make sure that Leo serves first and then that Leo serves against the wind, like that we serve on the correct sides, that when you have the coin toss and you win the coin toss, you want to make sure to defer, which means that you give the opponents the opportunity to choose whether or not they serve or receive. And depending on what they choose, you pick the side that's going to make you start off on the right side serving wise. So for example, we win the toss, we defer, they pick serve, then we would make sure to start with the wind, because then they would serve against the wind and then we would have a changeover and then Leo would serve against the wind. And then for example, if they choose receive, then we would make sure to pick the side against the wind so Leo can begin serving against the wind. But yeah, how they have played us is the fact that they won the coin toss. And when they won the coin toss, they chose to defer. So by deferring, we had to choose whether or not we serve or return first. And we chose return first. And of course, they picked to begin serving with the wind, which means that after we changed sides, after the first game, we would have to serve with the wind, meaning that I would have to serve first. So yeah, sorry, it's just a little side note on kind of like the mind games that goes on, especially in doubles tennis. But yeah, that's how we find ourselves, with me serving first in the second game.
Wimbledon champions. Of it.
Really just trying to scrap it back and forth, and we end up having a deuce point in the second game of the match. And yeah, Escobar just really nukes that forehand kind of in the perfect spot in the corner where I really couldn't reach it as I was trying to move forward. And yeah, we're just off to a really tough start here, going down 0-2 straight away. Following that, I feel like they really just kept the pedal to the metal and just served a really good service game. And then we have, of course, our best game here with Leo serving, and we managed to get a hold there to 1-3 to finally get a score on the board.
15.
Yeah, once again, a very solid service game from them. Even though we're making a lot of returns, they're just so good at taking position and just kind of keeping charge and just keeping us in check throughout the whole points. And it's just so tough for us to find a way through them at the net. And of course, to make matters worse, as I'm back on serve again, you really just see them kind of taking charge, just taking kind of position as the points kind of progress, and just kept on putting so much pressure on us. And before we knew it, taking it down 6-1. Before we knew, we kind of just got ran over there in the first set, but really just got to make sure to stay calm and just really focus on doing the right stuff over and over again, and hopefully we can start getting more of a foot into this match.
Nedvoyesov.
And a very positive thing here is that Leo starts serving on the correct side as well in this set, and that of course is a huge advantage as we managed to hold the first service game and actually take the lead here in the second set. But still, we're having big issues on the returning side, as they're just constantly, even though we're making good returns, they're just constantly just suffocating us, just putting so much pressure at the net, and we just can't find a way past them. But then for my service game, we were doing a lot more eyes here, as it helped Leo get more involved, and it just kind of took away more of the kind of cross court that it felt like they were just kind of nuking the ball cross court. So we wanted to take that away, and it really seemed to make a lot of difference as we finally managed to get my first service hold here of the match. for the 5th game in the second set, I really feel like they kind of upped their level a little bit, putting a lot of pressure on us, and we really had to scrap out a lot in order to try to hold this service game.
On the opposition serve.
So I managed to come up with a really good point there at 30-all, but straight away he just responds with an absolute nuke of a forehand, and we found ourselves at 40-all here.
And this time Freund is ready.
Just managed to reach across that ball and managed to dip it down, and we managed to get a huge hole there to 3-2 in the second set. They held it 3-all, and then once again for my serve, they just put so much pressure on me at the net. It's always so difficult to know if you want to go cross or line, if they're going to move or not, and yeah, it's just... Yeah, I don't know, it's just very stressful when they put so much pressure on you. And yeah, through a little sneak just before, and in the middle, they managed to break us finally to 4-3 in the second set. And then arguably one of the most important points in the match, somehow managed to whiff the ball, like completely whiff the ball. I don't really know what happened here. And that was again here at 30-all, another huge point, and I don't know, I just kind of over-snapped that one and just missed it out wide. But that for sure is kind of a result of them just making the court feel so small when they're at the net, and you just really feel like you only have the lines to play on almost. Through a really good service hold there by Leo, found herself down 4-5. It's up to them now to see if they can serve out this match.
Game, set, a match.
Quality experience doubles pair here.
Yeah, so I just got back to the room after the loss. I went and got some late night foods. Grill was the only thing open. And yeah, about the match, I mean, it's really tough and it's kind of crazy stats. We only won 5 points on their serve the whole match. And it's just really tough because these guys are just so consistent. They're not like bombing or hitting crazy shots. They're really just like suffocating you slowly over and over again, like especially on the service games, because it's so tough. Especially me, I don't really have the biggest shots or anything. So I kind of have to get by with like lobbing or finding angles and just kind of working them. But they're just so consistently solid at just like working and kind of finding, closing down the angles and just putting pressure on you to try to come up. And then I feel like I was a little stressed during the match and I was trying to like kind of overhit. And then obviously my service game, that's kind of where our heel is, with Leo maybe not being the most comfortable guy at the net and then me not having the biggest serve. It's kind of a tough combo there where we had to figure it out, and I feel like we started doing a better job when we started doing high formations. I feel like he could help me out a bit more at the net, and then it didn't put as much pressure on me hitting good serves. That's usually why I start missing a lot of first serves, because like in my head I feel like I need to hit a big serve and then I kind of like get crunched up, or I don't know, all weird things happen when you're out there getting a little nervous and adrenaline hits you. So obviously disappointed with the loss, just close to the match. Wish I would have done a lot of things better, but it kind of is what it is, and I guess the only way to keep improving and learning from it is just to keep putting yourself in these situations, putting yourself under pressure and just trying to get better at learning these and coping with them. And obviously me being injured pretty recently, I'm very happy to just be back on the court and feel like I can move pretty well, and I feel like I'm hitting the ball good. Like I'm hitting the ball very well. I feel like I'm just getting a little rushed out there, and obviously that comes from just consistency and playing matches and just playing tennis. But overall, I mean, a lot of fun. Just gonna try to make the most out of this week, try to play with a lot of the top guys and just keep improving. And I feel like that's one of the most important lessons about these kind of matches. It is very easy to get caught up in a moment, which I feel like kind of happened to me, you know, that you're kind of working on your normal level and then you get in here and these guys put pressure on you and just kind of feel like you have to all of a sudden raise your level up to here. And that's where, yeah, they got me kind of, if you can call it that. You just got me to feel like I needed to play at a crazy level and just got stressed out and just kind of got run over there. And yeah, I just got to get back to work and keep trying to find a consistency, just trusting my level and sticking with my level and just trusting the process and keep doing the right stuff and hopefully things will fall in place. So thanks a lot for sticking with me and checking out this match and hanging out on this channel. I really appreciate it, guys, and all the guys that came out and watched my match and said hi after. Really appreciate you all. And yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun stuff going forward. Just gotta stick to the process. Let's do it, guys. All the best, and see you next one. Ciao. If it's any kind of consolation, our opponents actually ended up running through the whole tournament, not losing a single set en route to win the title at the Nordea Open. And in the final, they only dropped 4 games. And with us taking 5 games, what does that kind of make us?